we move along here in the hour. But I want to welcome to the program Sean McCracken from Mysterious West Virginia. Sean, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Listen, how did you get started? And well, first of all, how would you describe what you do? What's your YouTube channel all about?
My channel profiles cold cases in and around the Mountain State. And this primarily focuses on unsolved murders, missing persons, and John and Jane Does. And I've delved a little bit into a couple of the other things that make West Virginia mysterious. And of course, there's a lot, but primarily those three things.
So you were telling me a little bit before we got started today about the number of subscribers you have to your channel. It's impressive.
Yeah, it's gone up in the last 2 weeks, unfortunately, mostly due to the retirement of one of my YouTube idols, the individual whose channel actually really prompted me to get going with my own channel. Kaylee Elise is retiring after 3+ years, and in her farewell video, she was kind enough to give a shout out to 3 channels that she thought her viewers, which were into the 500s of thousands, should follow, and she was kind enough to name me as one of them. So, about a week and a half ago, I had 10,000 subscribers, which I never thought I would ever see. And then all of a sudden, 4 or 5 days later, I've got 20,000, 21,000, 22,000. It's incredible. I owe her more than I could ever repay.
How'd you get started? What got you? What got you to this point?
I've loved true crime since long before there was an internet. I grew up with shows like In Search Of and Unsolved Mysteries. And what's the old saying, going back even farther? Everybody loves a mystery. And we've got plenty of them right here in the state. And they don't seem to get as much attention as I believe they should. And in following a lot of these true crime channels, mostly on YouTube, I thought they're doing a great job. The material that they put out is fantastic, but I think the last time I was on the air, I said there was a person from New Hampshire covering a case that was from California. And I thought they did a great job with it, but somebody from up in New England just cannot understand entirely something that is going on out in California, any more than somebody in California could understand what's going on here in West Virginia. So I thought we could do these cases far more justice if we stayed local.
You know, I'm going to ask you about the latest video you posted about Paul Blankenship, a really interesting story. But before we get into that, where do you find your stories? Where do they come from?
They come early on. They came from any number of online, mostly, sources. I, for years, have been a follower of the Doe Network, which is a site which highlights both missing and unidentified individuals throughout the entire country. And believe it or not, even up to today, there are only 3 Jane Does in the state. And one of them I had kind of kept an eye on for a number of years, and there was limited information available about it. So when this channel got started about 2 years ago, I decided early on, Jane Doe was kind of a buzzword at the time. So I thought, we're going to go with one of these 3 Jane Does, and I chose one from 1983, since it was a long time ago, but not quite the Dark Ages. And I quickly found out, after moving offline and going old school onto searching newspapers on microfilm and talking to the actual detective in charge, that there was far more information available than was online. So I knew right from then that these cases needed attention and could really benefit from it.
In this Paul Blankenship case, you mentioned early on in the video that the family reached out to you to look into his mysterious death. Does that happen often now?
This is happening more and more. Thus far, I have only profiled 2 cases that's started that way, but there's no way to say this without sounding like I'm boasting, so I'll come right out and say it. I think they are 2 of the best because they actually sprang practically from nothing, from very little media coverage in the case of one to practically none in the case of Mr. Blankenship, at least that I could find. I think 2 newspaper articles from 1981 was all that there was until he provided me, until his son, Mr. Blankenship's son, provided me with what he had. And this just opened up a huge can of worms that, to be quite honest, when he first contacted me, my initial reaction was, oh no, here's another family member who just can't accept, that
Right.
it was either an accident or a suicide. But then I told him that and said, I have to have something to back this up. Please send me whatever you have. And what he sent me included an autopsy report and a death certificate. And in this, West Virginia's medical examiner, since long before I was born, and we lost him just a couple of years ago, Irvin Sofer, officially declared the manner of death undetermined. And when I saw that, that was enough for me. I said, if he can't determine it, it's a genuine mystery, more than worthy of being profiled.
For the people who are listening to our program, I suggest you subscribe to his channel or just go over to YouTube and search Mysterious West Virginia, and it comes up. The video is about 35 minutes, so we're not going to give the whole story. But a couple of interesting things about this. It's a case of Paul Blankenship, who was in the hospital and kind of forced his way out. I'll let you watch the video and you can get the details on that. And he drowns. And so that's the basis of the story. But watching the video at the end, and you're very thorough in your investigation, do authorities come back and have questions for you? Or do you ever hear of what the authorities think about your investigation?
It has happened at least twice, and most recently I was contacted, and boy, I've got to be so careful with what I say, because all of these cases obviously are still open. I was contacted by a member of the West Virginia State Police, I guess about a month ago, in connection with a case that I profiled back in January of 2018, Isabel Butchko, going back to Moundsville, 1963. The body wasn't found until 1966. Again, I want to be very careful with what I say, but at the very least, it might have produced an eyewitness. Yes. And they contacted me because I was kind of blown away by this. They contacted me asking me what I had on the case, and I said, well, I requested a copy of whatever I could get from the state police, and it actually got to me 3 months after the story posted, but I've got it. Some of it you can hardly read, it's so old, but I'll gladly send you everything I've got, and I did. And the detective, I'll be honest, he didn't know if this was a potential eyewitness or a potential suspect. We just don't know. So I just want to be very careful with going too far with that. But yes, they have gotten back in touch with me. Witnesses have gotten back in touch, and I have whatever they tell me, I pass along as discreetly as I can.
All right, we're wrapping up with Sean McCracken, a Mysterious West Virginia. MysteriousWV is the YouTube channel. It's got over 20,000 subscribers right now. So the Paul Blankenship story you posted last week, it's a little over 34 minutes long. How often do you post a new story?
I try to get one up every month, which is, I hate to say, considerably less than a lot of the other true crime channels out there. But early on, I opted to focus on quality instead of quantity. So for the last 4 or 5 months, it's been on average about 1 per month.
Well, I can see where the work goes into something like this. There's a lot of editing, there's a lot of research. Sean, fascinating stuff. We got to have you back the next time you post something new.
Anytime you want me, I'm here.
There you go. Sean McCracken, Mysterious West Virginia is the website. Is there a website that goes along with the YouTube channel?
There is the YouTube channel. Just go on there and search MysteriousWV. It'll take you right to it. Each of the videos should have a YouTube link to the should have a link to the Facebook page in them, and I'm also on Twitter at MysteriousWV.
All right, appreciate that. Sean, thanks for coming in. We'll take a quick break. In or Out's coming up next. Stay tuned.
sea and steak at Wheeling Island Hotel Casino Racetrack.
Oh man, I love this
Here's a
stuff.
comfortable
I love
fine
this
dining
stuff.
experience
Listen,
with
I
reasonable
subscribe to your
prices.
channel,
Perfect for a party of two
and I'm on
or a
Twitter
night
just
out
at
with all your
Weekly.
friends.
Uh-huh.
So
The menu brings modern dishes
just
to
DM me
Wheeling.
next time you
We
got a new
delicious
story. We'll get you
shared
back.
drinks and
I'm working on it now. It should be up in about a week or two.
Sounds good.
All right.
Hey man, thanks.
Thank
Nice
you.
to meet you. Thanks for coming in.
Likewise.
For the point, see us
You have a good one.
Thank you.